There are certain times of the year when the universe doesn't call you to look inward, but instead shines a spotlight on the one opposite you, as if to remind you that your path of growth is being reflected through the way you connect with others. And for Capricorn, July is exactly that time. As the sun moves into Cancer, the zodiac sign directly across from yours, it doesn't just illuminate your spouse, partner, or closest companion. It also casts light on you from a perspective you rarely pause to consider, through the eyes of someone else. This is no longer a month for quietly burying yourself in personal goals. This is a time to stop, to listen, and to ask, who is truly walking this path with me? And what is that relationship revealing about who I am becoming? At this moment, the sun is moving through the sign directly opposite yours, Cancer. And whenever this happens, from late June through roughly the first 3 weeks of July, that light doesn't just shine on the other in your relationships, it also draws your most intimate connections into focus. That other might be your spouse, your lover, or a longtime companion, but it could just as easily be a business partner, a key client, or anyone who holds a meaningful influence in your personal or professional life. When the sun stands on the opposite side of your zodiac sign, it's as if the universe is asking you to step out of your familiar inner world and look across, to truly see what's being reflected back from those around you, which in turn reveals something you need to recognize within yourself. This is a time of connection, dialogue, redefined boundaries, and the possibility of important commitments being formed. Whether in love or in professional collaboration, every relationship during this period acts as a mirror, reshaping how you see yourself and your place in the world around you. The intimate to the professional is being brought into focus, clarified, and strengthened. This is a time when you may feel drawn to do something together with someone else, a shared project, a meaningful collaboration, or simply taking a moment to reflect together on where the relationship is heading. This happens every year as the sun passes through Cancer, like a cyclical check-in on your capacity for connection and cooperation, but this year is entirely different. For the first time in 12 years, Jupiter, the planet of luck and opportunity, is also present in Cancer, and more specifically, in your 7th house, the house that governs marriage, formal partnerships, and binding agreements. Jupiter entered this area in June and will remain there until the end of June 2026, bringing with it a wave of hope, trust, and expansion. This makes it an ideal time to elevate your current relationship, whether that means a proposal, a committed agreement, or simply the decision to live together and share responsibilities as true life partners. What makes this even more significant is that Jupiter is considered exalted in Cancer, meaning it operates at its highest strength and potential. And within the 7th house, this translates into major opportunities for connection, whether romantic, professional, or contractual, to grow in ways that are both optimistic and grounded in fairness. It's not about impulsive emotional romance, but about stability, clarity, and commitment, the kind of love that is mature, well-founded, and enduring. If you've been in a long-term relationship and still feeling uncertain, this may be the moment when it becomes clear it's time to build a life together. Not just with emotion, but with practical steps and long-term trust. Now let's shift our focus to several major planetary themes that are shaping a turning point in your journey this July. First up is Uranus, the planet of revolutionary change, breakthroughs, and progressive thinking, which is preparing to enter Gemini for the first time in 84 years, starting on July 6. This is no small event. Once Uranus steps into a zodiac sign, it stays there for 8 years, long enough to quietly yet profoundly restructure a specific area of your life. At the same time, Mercury, the planet of thought, communication, and analysis, will begin its retrograde phase from July 17 to August 10. This is a cycle that repeats roughly every 4 months, and each time it offers you a valuable window to slow down, reevaluate important decisions, and begin mending unresolved fractures. From reviewing plans and contracts to forgiving and letting go of what no longer serves you, this is a time for thorough recalibration, both internally and externally. In addition, there's a highly supportive energy for Capricorn that will be present throughout this month. Mars, the planet of action, confidence, and drive, will be residing in Virgo, an earth sign that resonates deeply with Capricorn's own elemental nature. This alignment means you're not only motivated to act, but also equipped to do so in a grounded, practical, and steady way. Before we dive deeper into the long-term influence of Uranus in Gemini, which is one of the most important highlights of this upcoming 8-year cycle, if you're finding this content valuable, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you won't miss future updates. Now let's take a closer look at the real-life impact of Uranus officially entering Gemini, marking the beginning of a transformational cycle that will unfold over the next 8 years. Gemini is the sign of information, communication, and quick thinking. It represents the flow of ideas, learning, language, and modern information technology. So, when a planet like Uranus, the symbol of breakthroughs, revolution, and non-linear change, enters this realm, you can expect to see profound shifts in how we communicate, connect, and interact with the world. Over these next 8 years, the full duration of Uranus in Gemini, innovation in communication and technology may accelerate at an unprecedented pace. Artificial intelligence, which already plays a major role, could evolve even further, becoming smarter, more intuitive, and more accessible to everyday users. It's not just about new technologies, it's about how naturally we begin to integrate them into our daily lives. For Capricorn specifically, this planetary movement has a direct impact on your 6th house, the house of daily work, health, and everyday routines. Uranus entering this part of your chart is like a cosmic announcement. It's time to refresh your lifestyle, starting with the smallest habits. Some routines you once thought were harmless, such as sticking to a rigid schedule or clinging to a sedentary lifestyle, will now be challenged. You may find yourself abruptly changing your daily rhythm, or realizing that your old way of working no longer fits. Your work environment might shift too, not just in terms of space, but in how you define what work really means. Uranus is tied to technology, and the 6th house is where you apply skills and effort. This pairing clearly opens the door for you to begin learning new technical skills, whether basic or advanced, not because you have to, but because you genuinely want to evolve toward greater freedom and sustainability. In fact, you may even find yourself considering starting your own business. With Uranus in a sign like Gemini, this business is likely to be digital, whether it's writing, teaching, content creation, or working in tech. You may feel more empowered, more driven, and more eager to shape your time and energy in your own way. Additionally, the 6th house also relates to health and well-being, and Uranus often brings unconventional, cutting-edge approaches. You might begin experimenting with alternative methods, such as Eastern herbal medicine, acupuncture, or even integrated biotech solutions, all aimed at cultivating a healthier body in a way that fits your unique nature, rather than following a one-size-fits-all model. In short, throughout the 8 years that Uranus will reside in Gemini, you are being invited to completely redesign your daily life, from how you work to how you care for your body, in a way that is more flexible, self-directed, and infused with the energy of the future. Venus, the planet of love, harmony, and beauty, will enter Gemini from July 4 to July 30. And throughout the entire 8-year cycle of Uranus residing in Gemini, Venus will meet Uranus here once a year, specifically in your 6th house, the area that governs work, the work environment, and daily routine. This meeting between Venus and Uranus can stir up your workplace atmosphere in very unexpected ways. It might be a romantic connection sparked by daily interactions, or a sudden wave of creative inspiration that makes you want to completely reinvent your workspace. From the layout to how you emotionally engage with your job. At times, this kind of energy can let emotion override logic. You might find yourself suddenly infatuated with someone at work, or become so absorbed in an exciting idea that you neglect essential responsibilities. Without balance, this could trigger abrupt changes or even disruptions in your work schedule or professional relationships. But on the flip side, this is also an ideal time for you to explore and apply creative approaches to your work, ones that don't follow old molds, but instead allow for more flexibility and personal expression. With Uranus, the symbol of innovation, and Venus, the embodiment of art and beauty, this pairing could awaken a desire to launch a personal project. Anything from opening a small boutique, starting a handmade art business, to creating digital content or building your personal brand online. More importantly, the inspiration brought by Venus and Uranus often goes beyond surface-level beauty. It reflects a deeper inner need for freedom, uniqueness, and the desire to find beauty within the flow of everyday life. Whether at your desk, in your busy calendar, or in the way you connect with others through authentic inspiration. Mercury, the planet that governs thought, dialogue, and analysis, is currently moving through your 8th house. This is the area related to shared finances, joint assets, loans, taxes, insurance, but it also reaches into deeper layers: psychology, inner transformation, and the boundaries of intimacy. Mercury entered your 8th house on June 26 and will remain there until September 21. However, from July 17 to August 10, the planet will go retrograde, marking a period of review, adjustment, and slowing down what may have seemed to be moving forward according to plan. During this time, you might find yourself back at the negotiation table, not only with business partners but also with yourself, revisiting matters that have been quietly brewing beneath the surface. This could be the moment to reassess financial agreements. Who holds control? Who's giving more? And who might be withholding important information? Mercury retrograde in the 8th house often stirs up underlying currents, deeper questions about power, trust, and invisible obligations. You may uncover something buried in a contract, or realize that someone hasn't been entirely honest about financial matters. Emotional wounds from the past may also resurface, asking to be fully acknowledged and resolved so you can move forward. On a practical level, this is a time to be especially cautious with legal procedures and financial paperwork. If you're submitting applications for loans, insurance, or dealing with a mortgage, delays, errors, or the need to redo documents are very likely. In particular, avoid buying or selling real estate or handling complex tax matters between July 17 and August 10 unless absolutely necessary and thoroughly prepared. Mercury retrograde does not carry a negative meaning. Rather, it serves as a reminder. What has not been fully addressed will return, and now is the time to face it with greater clarity, intelligence, and resolve. Mars, the planet that represents action, confidence, and personal drive, will be moving through Virgo from June 17 to August 6. Virgo, like Capricorn, is an earth sign, so Mars's presence in this area forms a trine, a harmonious flow and mutual support between stable elemental energies, and that brings you a surge of motivation, not just to start something, but to persist with long-term goals that are practical, grounded, and meaningful. This time, Mars is activating your 9th house, the house of higher knowledge, advanced education, publishing, travel, and strategic vision. With Mars stationed here, it feels like a force is pushing you to step beyond your usual limits, both literally and metaphorically. You may feel compelled to enroll in an intensive course, start writing a book, rebuild your personal brand, or simply plan a journey that broadens your worldview. What may have previously lived only in your imagination can now be turned into tangible steps, thanks to the assertive energy of Mars. Additionally, the ninth house is also associated with legal matters and large-scale administrative processes, from study abroad and immigration paperwork to legal issues involving partnerships. Mars not only empowers you to handle these matters head-on, but also gives you the courage to stand up for your rights, especially in situations where you once hesitated or felt held back. It's also worth noting that during this time, Capricorn is receiving powerful support from Jupiter, the planet of justice, which is shining in your seventh house, the zone of contracts, negotiations, and mediation. The combination of Mars, decisive action, and Jupiter, fairness and legality, creates a window of opportunity. If you're dealing with a legal conflict, signing an agreement, or submitting documents related to education or immigration, this is an extremely favorable time to move forward. With Mars in your ninth house, you're not just stepping out of your comfort zone, you're equipped with the strength to go far, because you know you're moving towards something that truly matters. When all these planets are in motion, you won't always feel it right away. But then there comes a moment, uniquely yours, when you look back and realize you've changed. The way you speak to your partner, the way you ask questions in a meeting, or simply the way you get out of bed in the morning. And that's when you know this July isn't just about astrology. It's about choice, choosing what's worth holding on to, choosing who's worth walking forward with, and choosing how to live so that you don't end up left behind in your own life. If you want to know which energy zones in your personal birth chart are being activated most powerfully this month, don't miss the next deep dive, where I'll break down each key date and show you how to make the most of your unique opportunities.